Police officers encounter all kinds of brutal and terrifying offenders in their line of duty, but what unfolds when they're forced to apprehend their own kids?
Dad. Get in the car. You're arrested for being...
On December 28, 2022, a bystander saw a white car crash into a traffic signal and then speed away. A piece of the car's bumper had dropped onto the street after the collision. Roughly 15 minutes after the report, officers found the accused vehicle at a fuel station nearby, but the person behind the wheel was the last one they anticipated.
Come back from Applebee's?
Yeah, I had a drink.
Okay. How old are you?
21. My dad is,
Listen, your bumper's in the road over there. Did you just hit that pole?
No, I promise I did not.
No.
The first thing 21-year-old Teresa mentions is that her father works as an officer with a nearby police department, maybe thinking he'd show up and bail her out of the mess. But the officers on site are certain it's far beyond that point.
You left Applebee's.
Yeah, I left Applebee's.
You cut through the plaza. You came out by Lowe's and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Did you hit the traffic pole that's right there?
No, I did not hit the traffic pole. This part was hanging off already. I hit a deer in Pennsylvania because I go to school in...
Do you smoke marijuana recreationally?
No, I do not smoke marijuana universally.
Generally, using marijuana isn't the only part of her tale that doesn't add up. She claims her bumper was already loose from a crash in Pennsylvania about 25 miles away, and it just happened to come off exactly when another vehicle identical to hers hit a traffic signal. But Teresa has a card to play that she believes might get her off the hook, or at least, that's what she's counting on.
I hit a deer.
You see this?
I hit a deer before this. You can ask my dad.
This piece fell off at the traffic light that you hit, that you knocked over. 670. Do you have another unit out with you?
Can you call my dad? He's a sheriff's
officer.
officer.
All right, hang out.
Within just a matter of minutes, Teresa mentions her father more than 5 times, clearly hoping he'll figure out a way to get her out of the situation. But before he has a chance to save her, the officers begin to focus in on what actually took place and manage to uncover at least part of the truth from Teresa.
Did you drive away because you're scared because you maybe had one drink and you think you're drunk?
Yeah.
And you might get arrested, but you don't seem like you're drunk?
Yes.
So you want to just tell the truth?
Yes, I'm telling you the
So when
truth.
after Applebee's, did you hit a traffic pole? You can't miss it. It lights up. It's red, green, and yellow.
I hit a curb.
You hit a traffic signal.
No, I hit a curb.
Yeah, you went up the curb, you hit the traffic signal fell down, and you
I
left.
was texting. If you just
Okay.
call my dad, he would tell you.
Well,
It's a
here's
sheriff's officer,
the thing.
I promise
Your dad, the
you.
sheriff's officer, wasn't driving your vehicle today.
In this single brief exchange, Teresa confesses that she did collide with something, that she's more under the influence than they initially thought, and that she was distracted by texting while driving, 3 traffic violations that each carry their own consequences. Now that the facts are on the table, the investigators choose to have a word with her father, John, but it turns out he's not there to bail her out.
Hey, John, how are you? So your daughter hit a traffic law. Okay. Where's the damage on the car?
Okay, the damage on that car, on the car there, I think it was like the front right bumper.
John clarifies that Teresa did collide with a deer previously and that the damage was to the front right bumper, but it wasn't nearly as severe as the harm the vehicle had recently taken.
Can I come out? Are you guys out there?
That's up to you. I'll see if she wants you to come out, if she wants, you to drive her home.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Let me come out there and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thank you.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
It seems Teresa won't be receiving the rescue she was counting on from her father, and just 5 minutes afterward, he shows up at the scene to speak with the officers.
What's up? So, what she's saying, and where the damage was and everything, doesn't really make too much sense. So, tried to get some more information out of her, but and then that piece of bumper there. So, for the other one, was it just the bumper wasn't hanging like that?
Yeah, no, so what it was is basically this was intact.
Okay.
This piece was missing, and the scratches here,
Those were all.
that's all from a deer that she officers.
So right now, this is going to be my call.
Okay.
Supervisor coming out.
Okay, gotcha.
He's going to be providing all the details.
Okay, who's your supervisor?
Sorry, John Paul.
Not that dude. I'm just asking.
The officers who first responded to the scene almost seem like they were anticipating John to defend his daughter and get visibly tense when he inquires about their supervisor. Clearly, there are numerous cases of misconduct where officers, especially those in higher positions, use their authority to keep their relatives out of trouble. However, the cops soon realize that all he's actually doing is collecting every detail about the situation so he can make a fair judgment on his own. This quickly becomes clear as he checks her text messages to try and piece together a timeline of what happened.
I just want to show you this so you can see it. You home 10:39. What do you think? Time do you think that initial call came? Because she probably hit it and was like, "Dad, what the fuck do I do?"
Somewhere between 10:45 and 11.
That's about right.
When we're talking to her, she wasn't telling us what she fed all.
I mean, lying to she knows, but I'm a cop. She knows. She knows not to do that. Well, maybe she didn't even. Do you think she? I'm not. I'm saying she didn't lie.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be very clear about that. But she might not even look at the freaking car to see if there's any difference.
Still, even with John's readiness to assist the officers, the sergeant on site asks him to stay out of it to preserve the integrity of the investigation. At this point, everything, aside from Teresa's behavior, has gone smoothly and stands as a solid example of proper law enforcement. So, attention shifts back to something Teresa mentioned earlier. She claimed she only had one drink at Applebee's, but it's beginning to appear that she might be a bit more intoxicated than they initially thought, suspicions that were soon confirmed through a series of field sobriety tests.
And everything that happened today, right? I don't think that you were okay to safely operate the motor vehicle.
Dad!
So,
Dad!
You got right.
Dad! Where's my dad?
Oh, your dad's right over here.
You do stop with this shit. Get in the car.
Okay,
You're arrested for DUI. Go ahead.
Have a seat.
After being escorted into the police car by her own father, Teresa was taken to the station where her blood alcohol content was tested. It came back at 0.17%, more than double the legal limit. As of this posting, Teresa is still awaiting her sentence but has received a court summons for driving under the influence, reckless driving, and failing to report a car accident. Teresa's father followed proper protocol without fail. In contrast, Kenneth Adams' father did the exact opposite when he attempted to misuse his position as a commissioner to prevent his son from going to prison. In November 2022, Kenneth Adams was stopped for disregarding a stop sign, but it soon became clear that Kenneth was facing far more serious issues than he initially thought.
How's it going?
Good. What did I do wrong?
Good. So the reason I stopped you is you didn't come to complete the stop sign?
I did.
And then you didn't have your turn signal on.
I sure did.
Okay.
I know for a fact I had my turn signal on.
Okay.
That's why I was surprised you were pulling me over, but...
The officer then confiscated his license and ran it through the system, where he discovered that Kenneth had an active warrant for burglary and vehicle theft. Suddenly, Kenneth became hostile and refused to leave the car.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle with me?
What are you doing? No, what's going on? Seriously, what's going on?
You have a warrant.
How do I have a warrant?
I don't know how you have a warrant, but it's on our system right now. You have an active warrant out of 7th District Court here in San Juan.
I've gone to... No, that's incorrect. Because
Okay.
I've gone
Well,
to
it's on our system right now.
Well, you
I'm not going to argue with you about it. You're going to go to jail tonight on that warrant, okay?
No, I'm not. Dude, this is absurd.
Mr. Adams, you do have an active warrant for your arrest.
And who issued the warrant, though?
The courts have
court.
it issued.
For what, though? Because I've gone to court for everything. There should not be an active warrant for me anywhere, dude.
Kenneth insists that he's already attended court for his prior offenses, but the warrant still calls for his arrest. For most minor cases, the defendant is responsible for submitting documents that verify they've attended court and completed any classes ordered by the judge. Without these records, the court cannot confirm their attendance. Since Kenneth failed to submit his paperwork, the warrant stayed active, and the police had no way of knowing that he had indeed been to court.
Issued October 13th.
For what?
It has some felony charges, burglary charges.
Dude, I've been to court for that. No, I've been to court for that.
You want to know the charges?
Yeah, I do.
So it has 2 burglary charges listed, a theft charge, mischief,
That's on my old case.
3 charges of burglary of a vehicle, and
Yeah.
criminal trespass.
Yeah, why is that floating up now?
Kenneth was escorted to the station, but that's when his father, Bruce Adams, showed up. Turns out, he was the county commissioner for the area. How convenient for Kenneth. As soon as he arrived at the scene, Bruce insisted on knowing what was happening and quickly began to display signs of corruption.
He's in jail. They took him.
You already took him to jail?
They took him to jail, and I stayed here with the car.
Why?
For a warrant.
Who do I call to find out?
To find out the warrant?
You're a police officer. Tell me who I call to find out why he's in jail.
I gotta be careful with this stuff, Bruce. You understand that? Okay. That's the warrant. Okay, so it says warrant status active. offense: burglary, theft, criminal mischief, burglary of a vehicle, burglary of a vehicle, burglary
He's
of a
already
vehicle.
been to court over that.
It's you saw the warrant right there. I showed you a warrant.
He's been charged with that, and he has a plea in abeyance on all of it.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to turn him loose.
I can't turn him loose, Bruce.
Who can?
Nobody can. He's been arrested for a warrant. The courts can.
And the warrant's false.
Huh? The warrant's not false.
You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
The warrant's right there.
Bruce clearly attempted to misuse his position and leverage his influence as commissioner to protect his son from facing the law. Fortunately, the officer held firm and refused to give in. Eventually, Kenneth was released from custody, the warrant was rescinded, and no further action was taken against Bruce. The officers who apprehended this law student weren't as fortunate.
There's nothing in that vehicle. I promise you. I didn't do anything.
Marion Humphrey Jr., the son of retired County Judge Marianne Humphrey Sr., was stopped after an officer reportedly saw him driving recklessly. Video footage captures him veering slightly after missing his exit. Marion is then signaled by the officer and pulled over. Informed that the officer saw him almost crash his vehicle and that he's being suspected of reckless driving.
When did you rent the car? Yesterday. You gotta take it, turn it back in a Fayetteville? Pick it up in Fayetteville?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm trying to figure out that you have probable cause to stop me.
Yeah, because you're super nervous, so I'm trying to figure out why you're so nervous.
As a law student, Marion questions whether the officer has probable cause for the traffic stop. The officer struggles to provide a solid response before claiming that Marion appears extremely nervous. Firstly, being nervous isn't illegal and doesn't serve as proof of a crime. Secondly, Marion actually handles himself remarkably well under pressure. He follows the officer's instructions, asks why he's been stopped, and inquires about the reason he's being detained. Calls his father to listen in on the entire encounter, something the officer clearly wasn't pleased with, as he then requests to search Marion's U-Haul.
If I bring a dog, is it going to hurt anything?
Yeah, no, it's not going to hurt anything. I promise you. I honestly just don't want to get shot. Yeah, that's all, and I'm sorry about that. It happens. I know it happens. Honestly, I don't want you to bring a dog because I don't think that's fair to me as a citizen, as someone who, if the only thing I did was kind of, like, I did not almost wreck my car.
If you don't want to bring a dog, just let me look in here real quick and I'll get you down the road. I don't have to bring a dog.
I just think that's so invasive of my rights, but you can live in here if you like to.
Marion does an excellent job of clearly expressing how frightening it can be to get pulled over by law enforcement, all while keeping a composed and respectful demeanor with the officer throughout. Still, Marion is placed in handcuffs for more than an hour as the police search his vehicle with a K-9. According to the officer, the dog detected the scent of drugs and signaled the officers even before stepping inside the U-Haul.
The dog alerted on narcotics in the vehicle, so I detained him and he's in the back car while I searched the vehicle.
But he didn't wreck his truck.
No, but he almost did, so that's probably cause of stop.
Daddy, he's arresting me. He's arresting me.
Give me your other hand.
He's arresting me, Daddy. There's nothing in that vehicle. I promise you.
Okay, come here.
I didn't do anything.
As expected, the police find nothing inside the vehicle. Marion has since filed a lawsuit against the officers, alleging they infringed on his 4th and 14th Amendment rights. As of this video's release, the case remains unresolved.